So I don't know how many of you guys watch Giga, but I seen one of her clips come across my timeline recently and I watched it. And I thought it brought up an interesting point.
Check it. Okay, so on the left is the start of the stream. Okay, and that dotted line in the middle where it says the Talos Principle 2 is the moment I changed categories to the Talos Principle 2 and opened the game. Okay? And I went from like 2,500 people to like 1,500 people. Just for playing for 2 hours of a puzzle game.
And I have to be honest, as a viewer myself of plenty of different VTubers, I'm kind of guilty of this, where I'll watch a streamer while they're doing their just chatting portion of the stream, usually in the beginning, and I'll stick around for most of that if I'm watching it. And when they switch to a game, it's usually like a 50-50 chance if I stay or go. And it's not because I don't like the streamer or the VTuber or anything like that. It's usually because a lot of the time, and I know I'm not alone when it comes to this, a lot of time when I'm watching a VTuber or whatever playing or streaming and they're doing just chatting, I'm usually not really watching the stream. Like, I'll have it on in the background while I'm doing other things, like whether I'm working, maybe I'm playing a game myself, or maybe I'm just whatever, it doesn't matter. But usually I'll have the stream on another monitor while I'm doing other things, and it's just nice to have someone, like, I don't know, in the background talking about whatever. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything specific. It's just nice to have that almost like background noise. So sometimes when that VTuber that I'm watching switches to a game, I don't want to say always, but a lot of the time I'll click off and maybe go watch something else or bring something else up, whatever. And it's not, like I said, it's not because I have anything against the content creator or the VTuber or anything like that. It's just because if I'm working and doing something else, I don't necessarily want to hear the game sounds in my ear as well. Like, sometimes it's too much for me personally, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's like that. Sometimes I'll stick around. Like, it really depends on the game for me personally. You know, if it's a more of a, like, I don't know, more chill game where they're still kind of talking and playing the game, like, that's fine. But if it's more of like a story game or like something that you really have to focus on, it kind of like, I don't want to say it ruins it for me, but I usually can't just listen to that in the background because it gets kind of annoying after a while. I don't know if I'm putting that right. I'm not trying to sound like an asshole or anything like that, but it's just the truth. And I know I'm not the only one who's like this. Another thing is that when it comes to, the game streaming, at least in the VTuber community, well, it's not exclusive to the VTuber community. It's, IRL streamers too. The thing is, you kind of have to play to the meta when it comes to games that you play on streams. Like, you really want to play that popular stream game. For example, Lethal Company. When that was hot and that came out, everybody was playing Lethal Company for days on end. And that's cool. I have nothing against Lethal Company, but the problem is with that is, as a content creator or the streamer, you have to realize that your viewers have, content fatigue or even gaming fatigue when it comes to certain things. Sure, it may be the first time you're playing that game, but you have to keep in mind that you're probably not the only content creator or VTuber that your audience is watching. So a lot of times what can end up happening is your viewers are going from the different content creators that they watch playing this one game, and they just get tired of seeing it. And it can be a great game, but like when it's everyone's playing the same game at the same time, you get bored of it very quickly. And this is coming from a viewer perspective. Like, I've felt like this plenty of times. And at the same time, this also sucks for the creator because you kind of have to play to the meta to get views and things like that. Like, you can't necessarily, unless you already got the juice like that, then it's different. Like, you can't necessarily go and play whatever you want and expect your views to be the same. It's gonna change. It kind of is what it is, and it sucks. It's a shitty situation, I think, for both sides, really, to find that balance to make sure that both people are happy, both the creator and the viewers. And I don't know if there is an answer to this other than it kind of varies from creator to creator, because I definitely have creators that I watch and I don't mind when they play games or they're just chatting. And I know it's probably a small group of people out there that would probably say like, oh, well, they went from 2,000 viewers to only 1,500, and maybe that doesn't seem like a crazy dip to like somebody like a viewer, but that's a lot of people that you can lose as a content creator, especially when it comes to your livelihood. And nobody likes to see those numbers go down. Like, the whole thing when it comes to being a content creator is see the funny number go up. Really, like, that's it. And it's stressful and it sucks, but I don't know, it is what it is. I don't know if there is an answer to it other than you have to specifically cultivate an audience that is used to you playing games and draw people in. I like that type of thing, but I think it's hard if most of your stuff is just chatting and then you switch over game and your viewership goes down. I think that's something you have to accept if you do a lot of just chatting. It is what it is. And I'm no expert on this topic, you know, I'm just a viewer like everybody else. But this is really just my 2 cents on the whole thing, because I thought it was a really interesting thing to see even somebody who I think is doing well for themselves when it comes to content creating. Like, I do watch Giga. I think she's pretty cool. So it's interesting to see that people who are bigger than me still having similar struggles, I guess. I don't know how to put that. Like, there's something comforting about that, right? And I'm not saying that I'm happy that like this happens to people. That's not what I mean. I'm just saying it's like it just feels good to know that people, like, no matter how big you get, that everyone kind of has like the same struggles. I don't know. I sound crazy. I'm making it seem like I'm happy that this happens to people, and I'm not. It's just, I don't know, it's comforting. I'm trying to be honest. It's just comforting. That's all it is. Anyway, that's all I had to say about this clip. Thanks for watching.